All right, it's that time again. AT&T Fan Connection. We love it. You love it. Jordan most definitely loves it. And you told us before the show you might have some spice for us. Welcome in, Jordan.
Yes, I do. I have some slightly spicy questions this week, I think, a little bit.
Jordan, you're a bit somber today. Why is that?
I'm not talking
she's
to
trying
you.
hard. She's trying hard to represent her team when they're down. I get it.
She's pretending.
I am wearing the 1993-95 replica Liverpool jersey with number 9 Ian Rush on my back. As a reminder to all the Liverpool fans out there that we have sucked before and we will be great.
They're saying we'll suck again.
Tim, you know how during the game, like all the fans were booing? She's trying to show like the world that she's a real diehard fan and she sticks by them through thick and thin, but Liverpool fans don't do that. Like Everton fans. All right, go on, Jordan.
Give us some spice.
Okay. Well, let's start with some USMNT questions. You guys were talking about Christian Pulisic before. This question is from Joel, I think it's Joel, via email. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I haven't heard anyone comment on the fact that Christian Pulisic had the captain's armband on for the Australia match. I could see him limping in the first 10 to 15 minutes. He shouldn't have been in the game. Could giving him the armband, his first since Pochettino was hired, been a way to get him to start the match if he was reluctant? How is the captaincy decided on?
Oh, it's a good question because I have
no. First of all,
a strong opinion.
First of all, no. First of all, no. He didn't. You're not going to entice a player with, if you play, I'll give you the armband. So that I'm just going to start with that, and then go ahead, Tim.
Keep going.
No. That's all I have.
I have a strong feeling about. I play for some incredible captains, and the captain is not a player. The captain is not always your best player. The captain, and usually it's not your best player. The captain should never need to be enticed to wear a captain's armband to play better. The captain is just your captain. The captain is the most, one of the most respected people on the team. It has nothing to do with ability. It's about accountability. That's who your captain is. So I actually was surprised that was the first time he's worn the captain's armband under Pochettino. I didn't know that, but I would imagine that with you like you, that definitely didn't happen.
You know, it was interesting. I guess I didn't put that all together that he wore the armband. Tim Ream didn't start, right?
Right.
But Chris Richards started.
Right.
So the next logical choices would have been Tyler if he was in.
Wasn't in.
Or Chris Richards, really. I don't know.
Chris Richards took the armband from Christian when he went off.
Well,
yep.
I don't know if he took it, but he
received it. Yeah.
He was the next person to wear it. So that's interesting. I hadn't tied that together. I guess who else do you give it to? I think given his performances for the team, I would have probably given it to Chris Richards and everything he'd done. But yeah, that's interesting. And you know, it's, for managers, you're balancing all these different things. And so if you don't give it to him, what does that say? And so it's a challenge.
They should just, certain teams let the players vote and they tally that up. Probably not at that level, maybe at that level, but the manager should have his captain, and then that's it, and a senior leadership group. But
you know what Bob Bradley used to do? This was so great. He'd always it wasn't a threat, but he'd always go, you know, with some teams, I'll have my players write down who they want to play with or who their starting 11 should be or which guys are, he would always say, on this side of the line or that side of the line. And he would never actually do it, but it made you think about it. Oh, who do I want to play with? And then if you're like one of those guys who's like, shoot, do people want to play with me or whatever? It was like really, so maybe you just threaten it.
That's I forgot about the line. Bob, we talked about being on the other side of the line. But I remember on the not great, but the Milan teams of AC Milan teams that I grew up watching, or maybe late 90s, early 2000s, they had a club rule. I don't know who implemented it. Maldini was the captain. And then when Maldini wasn't on the pitch, there was a hierarchy of who had been at the club longest. Didn't matter your nationality.
That was it.
So Maldini goes off the pitch. And at one point it became Ambrosini, who was like a younger kid. He had been at the club longer than anybody else because he had served through the youth. So he got the captain's armband. I just remember.
And then there's no discussion. It's just, yeah. All right. Good question.
Okay, so you guys mentioned Chris Richards in there, and we actually got 3 or 4 versions of the question I'm about to ask you. So this one is from Vincent via email. In the USMNT versus Australia reaction live stream, thanks so much for watching, Vincent. Tim and Landon talked about players stepping up and being the enforcer to help protect players who would get smashed by the opposing team. It sounded like Chris Richards was ready to do that in the game against Australia, but is he the right player to do that? A center back with a yellow card seems like a liability at the back. Wouldn't it be better for a player further up the pitch to take that role, like a Weston McKennie?
Go on.
Yeah. Yeah. But by the way, Chris Richards wouldn't be the only tough, tenacious center back who's willing to step up for his team in world football.
Yeah.
That's kind of part of that job, right? We see it constantly in the Premier League with certain center backs. So what Chris Richards is saying, he's not saying like he's just going to go steaming into a tackle and continually get booked and put himself on the edge. That's not what he's saying. Because by the way, you could also send messages in different ways. And so he's obviously going to be smart about it. But of course, you're hoping he's not taking a yellow card early on in the game. But I don't think that's what Chris Richards meant.
And it is a little less about position, although generally speaking, center backs, gritty defensive midfielders kind of carry that mentality, and they're like that. But it can be an attacking player like Connor Casey, a guy we played with. He used to smash center backs, and not in a retaliatory way all the time. It was just like he wanted to be a nightmare to play against. And so he would just hammer you and smash you something, not me, but like center back. And so it's more just personality driven. I don't think Wes really has that. We saw Sebastian Berhalter definitely has that in the Gold Cup. And some guys just have that about them.
Okay, one more U.S. men's national team question. This one is from John via email. John says, I have watched Miles Robinson since his Atlanta United days and admit he is a favorite. Please go back over the last 2 games. Miles started both, so the gaffer has confidence. He played well. Only fault was Irankunda breakthrough. The kid is a beast. Who knew? Miles is an excellent coverage guy and superior on recovery ability. In the podcast after the games, very little said about him. It's not right.
Yeah, fair. I mean,
fair. And because it seems now that Pochettino is going to play in a back 3, you would think he is the leading candidate to play with Chris Richards and Tim Ream. And then the question is, where is everyone best suited? And that part is tricky because you would say Chris Richards in the middle makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons, but Chris Richards plays on the right for his club team. And there's so much value in just knowing automatically what that's like. And then you come into the national team, you got to change a little. So they are different. They are very different positions. So, but I agree. I think Miles was solid, did no wrong. And as Pochettino always not only says, but shows with his actions, if you play well and you work and you fight, you're going to play again. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts the next game.
And there are just some players who are underappreciated. And Miles is obviously one of them, but we don't disagree with that. Put in 2 good performances and on a team where there are a bunch of stars, his name is not going to pop to the top. So we're going to remember that. Remember that next time we do a live stream.
Who asked the question?
John.
And John, by the way, you want it that way. You want it to be that we're not talking about him. Okay? So just like a referee, you don't want us talking about him. That means he's just doing his job solidly. And then we'll look up in 3 months and go, damn, that guy started 6 games in a row. That's pretty good. And it's better that way. Because if we're talking about him, it means something bad happened, most likely.
Okay, one more question. This one's from Katie via email. And before I ask her question, I also just want to mention in her email, she asked if we would consider doing some content going forward where you guys discuss the different positions on the field and kind of like explain what each position is supposed to do and what purpose they serve. I feel like that might be something interesting.
I feel like it's social content.
2.
I like it.
Yeah.
It is. But I just warn you, Katie, there's not just 11 positions because there's formations and how you play and what it looks like if you're if you're Nottingham Forest versus if you're Man City. So we can get into all that, but
maybe she needs to send us a couple specifics on I'd really like to know what an 8 does or what that type of thing.
in this system, right?
Yeah, you have homework.
You got homework,
Katie.
Katie. Do your homework.
You've got a couple weeks before we start season 2, so
Mhm.
give it a
There you
think. Okay, so this is Katie's question. She says, I am a newer soccer fan, which kind of explains the thing she's looking for, and I'm still learning the dynamics of the game. My question is, given the state of the current U.S. men's national team, how much of the struggle we can attribute to the coaching staff? I always see coaches get blamed when teams aren't doing well, and I'm trying to decipher if that's the case with the current men's national team that seems to still be working to find their way.
Well, there's a few things. One, it's easier to fire one person than it is 25 on a roster. Second of all, with the national team, you can't cut players. Like you cannot bring them in, but you can't sign new players, right? So you bring in the coach, and the coach has this group of players, and that's it. I'm assuming her question is in reference to prior to this last this last international window, because I thought the team was excellent and really moving in the right direction. And to your point, Katie, it takes a lot of time for a coach, and Tim talks about this, and giving coach more time to get a team to like culturally adapt to what you want from them, on the field adapt to what you want from them. And with the national team, it's exacerbated because you only get them for a few days at a time. So when you're with a club team, you have them every day. So over 3 months, there's massive improvement. 6 months, massive improvement. With the national team, it's really hard because you're starting over a little bit every time they come into camp.
That's right. Nothing really to add to that.
That's it.
Nothing from you. No random.
No Liverpool
thoughts.
questions or anything.
You got anything for us? I mean, you always
4 losses in a row.
Well, it doesn't have to be Liverpool. It could be a
there.
soccer question. It could be anything. No, nothing spicy.
No, I'm good for right now. I would just like to remind people that we're off for the next 2 weeks while we get our heads down and get prepared for season 2. So you have plenty of time to send me questions. Feedback at unfilteredsoccer.com. Just be nice. Okay. That's really all that I ask. Don't
nice.
Boo Liverpool. Nice. Give me a break, guys. I'm clearly already getting it from Landon and Tim. I don't need it from them.
Jordan will, like, in our group chat, put some nice comment that someone wrote to her and then ask a question. And then sure enough, that question shows up on the show. So flattery works.
Not this time.
Not this time. All right. Thanks, JR.